Welcome to the X Corner. I'm here to add some more mutation to that superhero crew. I'll be covering the X comics for the week of July 25th, 2018. This week we have 6 comics. Hunt for Wolverine, Mystery and Madripoor 3, Mr. and Mrs. X number 1, Multiple Man number 2, Old Man Logan number 44, X-23 number 2, and XMen Blue number 32. I did cut out a few comics, which I will talk about later, which is the Manifest Destiny series, the 2nd volume, and also New Mutants Dead Souls, which I will be covering as a whole series. And there'll be spoilers, of course. We'll start with Hunt for Wolverine, Mystery and Madripoor number 3. The writer is Jim Zub, and the penciler is Tony Salas. Kitty, Jubilee, and Domino are heading to the launch site to stop Viper's plans. Meanwhile, Sapphire thinks Logan is attacking her, and she's freaking out, causing chaos. Domino goes off to try and stop the launch, while Jubilee and Kitty try to find their friends. They find 2 of Viper's henchwomen and beat them down. Kitty disrupts the Psychic's hold on Magneto, and he is released. Domino is jumped, but we see Storm and Rogue being loaded onto the rocket. Magneto tries to stop the launch, while Sapphire rages on, and Kitty hears psychically Psylocke, who is obviously fighting her way out. Finally, the women are being more proactive. They started last issue, but here they start to kick some butt. Domino making fun of Bloodlust 90's name was fun, and seeing Magneto rage out was a nice change. I guess they didn't get the memo he was a lunatic killing machine now, but more on that later. The art was a little weird, but still adds a frenetic feel to every panel. It doesn't work for the talkie scenes, but for the action of this issue, it served well. One more issue, and I bet they don't find Wolverine. Still fun though, so it gets 8 out of 10. Then there's Mr. and Mrs. X number 1, the writer is Kelly Thompson, and the penciler is Oscar Bazulda. This is the beginning of a new ongoing series with a bad name, but it's Rogue and Gambit being married the series. We get a more in-depth look at the wedding in the beginning of the book, and then Rogue and Gambit's honeymoon. Gambit arranged to borrow Alpha Flight's ship, so they are in orbit of some world and are enjoying the view, so to speak. Rogue has a mutant inhibitor necklace to allow her to touch Gambit. Unfortunately for them, Kitty calls and has a mission for them. It's in space, and they're the closest to X-Men. They have to go to retrieve an item. They find Cerise, an old member of Excalibur, in chains, being held by the Imperial Guard of the Shi'ar. They have the package, and want the X-Men ship. They fight, and halfway through, Rogue absorbs one of the Imperial Guard's phasing abilities by mistake. She phases outside the ship and is about to die. Gambit immediately is captured as he goes to help her, but then she teleports away. She then wakes up in bed with Deadpool, and the item she was sent to retrieve seems to be an egg. This was a great read and very well drawn. This team proved themselves on the miniseries and continue to knock it out of the park here. The wedding was fun, as each X-Man was choosing sides in the wedding, mostly not siding with Gambit. Mystique showed up, which was a nice touch since she's no longer crazy thanks to X and Astonishing X-Men. The Space X-Men suits were pretty awesome. It's rare to see a new redesign, and think that it's cool right away. Sending this series into space was unexpected and a great idea. We had them in a resort last time, so this was the furthest away from that. The writing is still smart and fun. Kelly Thompson has a little write-up at the end detailing her love of these 2 characters and their relationships, so I know it's in good hands. 9 out of 10, and I think this is the new hotness for the X-Men universe. # Gambit and Rogue forever. Then we have Multiple Man number 2. The writer is Matthew Rosenberg, and the penciler is Andy McDonald. This issue we have the League of Madrixes from the future recruiting the future Madrix from this series to go into the future to stop the future version of Madrix from ruling in a fascist dystopian future. They stumble across the Resistance, run by a young boy named Davy Miller. He's the son of Layla Miller, who was the original Madrix's wife. Helped by the severed head of Forge, Madrix plans to send more dupes into the future to go back to the past to stop all this from happening. It sounds confusing, and it is. Madrix and his crew attack a bunch of fascist dupes, but soon realize they're going to get beat. This series is nuts. Rosenberg embraces the illogic and confusion of time travel to the nth degree. And it's still pretty great. There's no sense to it, and Madrix is running around doing things for no reason, but I still love it. 8 out of 10. Next we have Old Man Logan 44. The writer is Ed Brisson, and the penciler is Juan Ferreira. Bullseye is more psycho than ever as he's hunting Vendetta unbeknownst to her. He's kidnapped one of her associates named Bullet. He tortures Bullet to get his partner's shotgun, but neither know anything about Vendetta. Logan and Vendetta show up at Bullet's place, but he's worried Bullseye is going to go after his son. So Logan sends Glob from the X-Men to go check on the kid, while they go after Shotgun. Shotgun is in the middle of a bank robbery that Bullseye has crashed. Logan and Vendetta get there just in time to save Shotgun and fight Bullseye, but he escapes. Glob calls, and Bullseye's got Bullet's kid, though. This comic was written alright, but the art was ridiculous. There's one shot of Bullseye, which has a huge Glenn Fabry feel. The fights were also epically drawn. Logan versus Bullseye in the bank looked gorgeous. It all but made me forget about how much I hated the concept of Logan vs. Bullseye again. I like how there's much more of a Tarantino feel to this story. It isn't just a superhero fight. Bullseye is relentless in his killing though. He's approaching Joker levels of insanity out of nowhere. Maybe they'll explain it eventually. Still, mostly for the art, this one's getting an 8.5 out of 10. Then there's X-23 number 2. The writers are Mariko Tamaki, and the pencilers Juan Cabal. We start with the Cuckoos mourning one of their creepy clone sisters' death. Then we get a cute scene with Gabby waking up Laura insisting on a birthday for them. Laura leaves to search for the missing geneticist, and the Cuckoos leave the school and say there's no turning back, and that they must do anything to save their last sister. I think there might be some manipulation going on here. Laura discovers the scientist had a sort of Fitbit called hilariously Fit Fat Foom, and tracks her to an abandoned church. Gabby shows up and says Laura texted her and told her to meet her there, but it's a trap. The Cuckoos put the whammy on Laura and kidnap Gabby. The best thing about this series so far is that you feel sorry for the villains. That's a hard thing to do in 2 issues, but so far, you just wish the Cuckoos were thinking straight, because Beast probably could have helped them. Gabby and Laurie's sisterly relationship, especially juxtaposed to the Cuckoos, is in the forefront here, and it feels so genuine. In the past arcs, Laura felt like a mother to Gabby, but here she's definitely squarely a sister. Once again, we get a great artist too. We feel the emotions on the faces of everyone, and everyone has a distinct look. There was never a part in this where I confused Gabby and Laura, unlike every issue of X-Men Red, by the supposed better artist. I guess you have to be named Juan to be a good artist at Marvel these days. Another solid comic. And this week cannot fail, 8 out of 10. Lastly, we have X-Men Blue, number 32. The writer's Cullen Bunn, the penciler's Jorge Molina. Oh yeah, X-Men Blue. So much for the great week. Okay, I'll try to give it a chance. So Magneto is trying to kill Emma, and the young X-Men are trying to stop him. Eventually, after a back-and-forth fight, Pickles comes and teleports Emma away. Beast starts to go all magic-y, and Magneto knocks him out before he can. We start to see some remorse in Magneto. He keeps ranting about what he saw and how he has to stop it. He stopped Beast from giving into his dark side, and he eventually backs down so that him and Jean don't end up killing each other. There seems like a method to his madness seeping in, which hopefully means he's not just a lunatic, like his daughter said. The art here was pretty cartoony, but it did give us some epic Magneto shots. Also, the first page showing the classic battle from X-Men number 1 with Magneto vs. the X-Men was very nice. I thought it was another artist. It was so good. Then it was juxtaposed, that word keeps coming up this week, with the fight in the present very nicely. You see how these X-Men have changed, and what does that mean for the timeline? Is this the future Megs is fighting against? It is all leading to extermination. I'm actually a little hopeful after this issue. Cullen Bunn had spurned me with the whole Venom crossover, but maybe I should reserve some judgment. I also love halfway through the fight Magneto starts yelling at the X-Men for abandoning the fight to go off in space, which I hope is a metaphor for Cullen Bunn doing the same. Anyway, not a bad issue since I see the light at the end of the madness. It's not perfect by any means, but for the latest X-Men Blue issues, it was pretty okay. 7 out of 10. So a really good week this week. Even X-Men Blue didn't crush my soul. I must say the X titles, while up and down, are on a better course than they have been for a long time. With the rumored cancellation of the dreadful-looking Dark Phoenix movie and the strangely toned New Mutants one, maybe just maybe we'll get a movie renaissance too. If Disney do the X-Men as well as they've done the rest of the Marvel Universe, then I can die happy. No X-Corner next week, as I will be at Gen Con, but I promise to catch up the week after. If I survive. Wish me luck, and if you're at Gen Con, drop by the Mantic booth and say hi. See you in 2 weeks. Can the center hold? Can we continue this X-Men run of fun? Only time will tell.